Welcome back, Class 8. It's good to have you back again and hope you're doing great and recharged after a week's gap. Well, we have to get back to our studies again, and you all are done with chapter 4 till now. So let's start and take a sneak peek into chapter 5, that is industries and environment. Children, we all know that for a growth of a country, for a growth of a nation, one of the major things that is most important is the development of industries. They help us. They are actually the backbone of our nation. It is the development of the industries that boost our economy, that boost our GDP. Okay, so it is actually, the meaning of industry is nothing but the people and the activities involved in producing a particular thing or in providing a particular service. Okay, or we can also say that a mechanical unit for the processing and production of goods through the utilization of raw materials, energy, human resources, transport and technology at a place or area is called as industry. But we also need to remember that whenever we are thinking of setting one industry, we are compromising on few things. What are they? We are actually compromising on our environment, the health of our environment. How? It is not unknown to us that due to the raw materials, due to the various usage of raw materials and the emissions from the different industries, our environment is already much polluted. It is the severe air pollution that is associated with these industries. So, it becomes of pivotal importance to look into the different matters or the parameters of nature while setting up of an industry. Utilization of resource for industry. What are the different resources that we utilize? Land area, raw materials, energy sources like fossil fuels and electricity. Fossil fuels include coal, petroleum and natural gases. Human resources, machineries, transport and markets. So all these are the raw materials that goes into setting up of a huge industry. It also requires a land area which must be very large for specific type of industry, such as steel industry, cotton industry, pulp and paper industry, cement, asbestos, fertilizer, chemical industry, etc. Every industry requires some type of raw material to convert it into finished products. So that is the main aim of the industry. They use the raw materials to get a specific finished product. Okay. Now, for example, iron and steel industry requires iron ore as raw material, and iron ore is brought out of mines. Similarly, aluminium industry requires aluminium ore to convert it into aluminium. Aluminium ore too is brought out of earth. Thus, industries put considerable amount of stress on the natural environment for the requirement of the raw materials. Naturally, digging and boring continuously will not help in restoring the natural resources, especially when the mineral resources are limited, and constant quarrying and mining will not produce, or it takes about 1,000 years to form a layer of coal. So if we constantly remove it and constantly extract it, then it is putting a lot of pressure onto the environment. Industries need energy to run their machines. Most of the energy they derive is from the fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, diesel and natural gases. Some industries run on the electricity, and the production of electricity come from a lot from the coal. Okay, so coal produces energy as well. So every industry need water for its to cool down its machineries, to flush out its waste, and to facilitate the living of the employees. So children, we will notice that why there is a concentration of iron and steel industry in the in the east belt of the country, because the materials available, or the raw materials that the industry needs, are concentrated on this part vividly. All right. So be it the iron ore, be it the hydroelectricity, or be it the availability of cheap labor, running water, or the conditions or the climatic conditions available are all suitable for the growth of these steel plants. That is why they are concentrated in some particular areas. Okay. Now, some industries employ large number of people as laborers and office bearers. Yes, so human resource is also an important aspect of it. Industries needs means of transport for bringing raw materials from mines and refineries. So, a well-connected roadway or railway is also a must for transporting the finished goods or transporting back the raw materials. Okay, now we are coming to processing and production of goods. All the activities that are done before actual production of good are collectively called the processing. The conversion of processed materials into finished good is called the production. So a huge amount of labor, a huge amount of planning is required for all these processing and at last the production. For planning, the planning and management of an industry incorporates the following parts: preparation of industrial location plan, environmental impact assessment study, preparation of environmental management plan. So first is the location plan. Where will the factory be set up? Where will we get the huge large stretch of area where we can make the planning? Second comes environmental impact assessment study. This is very important. EIAS we call it. So we have to assess the environments surrounding the area, whether it's a thickly populated region, or it's a suburb, or it's an outskirt of a city. We have to understand that. Third comes preparation of environmental management plan. Thirdly comes, if all the two above factors are met or the conditions are met, then comes the third factor, which is we have to manage our surrounding. Even if we are not getting something of our own choice, we need to manage it. We should know the management skills to cope up with the situation. So that also needs to be taken into consideration. So first we are coming to the preparation of industrial location plan. First come the physical factors. What we have to see: availability of raw materials, sources of energy, availability of water, and a favorable climate. Important. Okay. Now, human factors include the availability of labor at cheap rate and the market where the product can be sold, a means of transportation, capital, and local facilities and the policies of the government. So all these come under when we are planning the location. Where will the factory be set up? Okay, industries cannot be set up anywhere we wish to. So the Ministry of Environment and Forest has fixed some specific rules and regulations that we have to keep in mind, and which includes that no industry can be set up within a range of 500 meters from natural parks, sanctuaries, historical monuments, big human settlements, estuaries, etc. So beside all the natural things, we cannot set up an industry because they will have their harmful effects directly onto these. So we have to be very cautious while planning the locational site, and we have to keep all the parameters in mind so that we do not fall out on anything. Fall short of anything. Next, we are coming to environmental impact assessment study. A comprehensive study of the assessment of impacts of an industry on the local environment is called the environment impact assessment study. It has to prepare and submit an environmental impact assessment statement on the basis of environmental impact assessment study as per the guidelines of the Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India. It is mandatory for all industries. So they have to go through a specific rules and regulations preset by the Ministry of Indian government. They will guide you so as how you should manage and how you should where you should have your site. The scope of environment impact assessment: any possible chance of land degradation due to the project of the industry and loss of biodiversity. Okay, extent of forest clearances or tree felling and measures of their regeneration, types of pollution and health hazard expected due to project or industry's measures to be abatement, and the extent of risk and problems of displacement of local inhabitants of the area, measures their rehabilitation. So these need to be taken into consideration whether you are resettling the inhabitants or you are harming any of the natural flora or any natural habitation is getting damaged, or you need to understand or you need to take into consideration whether you are harming the natural environment or not. After all these criteria are satisfied, then only you are allowed to set up your site. Next, thirdly comes preparation of environment management plan, that is EMP. Planning for the management activities as per the environmental impact assessment is called the management plan. What it includes: conditions of emissions and discharge of pollutants, important, measures for the disposal of waste, prevention and control of noise, measures for recycling and reusing of waste, extent of damage to forest and natural vegetation and provisions for regeneration of forest, provisions for biodiversity conservation and recovery, especially or near extinct species, health facilities. So in this plan, the government has suggested that even if you have some impact on the flora and fauna of a particular region, you must take necessary plan to regenerate and restore in them in their proper habitat. Okay, you have to take care of the sewerage, you have to take care of the emission, discharges and the pollutants from your industry. You have to be very cautious about the disposal of waste. You need to control the noise, you need to recycle, reuse your waste and follow the 3R system. So if these all are satisfied, then only you will be able to set up your industry. It is not so easy. It has to be accordingly or following the proper government norms all the time. Okay, now that was all about setting up of an industry, all the procedures. We have seen all the raw materials that goes into. We have seen that the process is called processing and the final product process is called the production. Now we will see management of industrial fumes and vapors. What are the different aspect of it? Okay. Now, under this, we have the industrial waste management practices. So, what are the practices that we will see? Waste management practices. This is important because a factory generates, an industry generates a lot of waste. So, what will be their, future and how they are gonna disposed. So these are of prime importance. So first we have combustion. Through this process of the chemical nature and the form of the organic gases, fumes are changed by burning them with the help of suitable chemicals, and they become less harmful or harmless. So that is combustion. Second, we have absorption. In this process, gaseous pollutants are passed through absorbent that contains specific liquids. Okay. Now, these harmful part of the gaseous pollutants are absorbed by those liquids and they become harmless gas and they release the harmless gas. Okay. Now we have adsorption. Adsorption is, in this process, gases containing pollutants are passed through specific porous equipments which contain specific chemicals as adsorption. Okay, when gases containing organic and inorganic pollutants are passes through the absorbers, their pollutants are caught by chemicals filled in it. Okay, thus they release the harmless gas. So mostly we will see that the gases or the fumes are very they are carbonated, and these are carbon very unhealthy gases, carbon concentrated unhealthy gases. So if we follow these three steps, that is combustion, absorption and adsorption, then we can actually have our pollutants treated carefully. Okay. Now, next we come management of particulate matter. The particulate matter released from industries are managed on the basis of the following principle. What are these? Solid and heavy particles in gas settle down due to gravity of earth. Okay. Particulate matter can be separated by changing the direction of gases containing it. On the basis of principles mentioned above, many types of devices have been made to control particulate emissions from industries. Some very important devices are fabric filter, wet scrubbers, electrostatic precipitators and cyclone collectors. So what are these? So particulate matter, in the particulate matter which are heavy, they get settled down, but few they just don't. So for them, the factories have adopted three different process. First is the fabric filter. It is a type of pollution control device in which a fabric is used for filtering out the particulate present in the industrial gases. Okay, so it's pretty simple. So a fabric will be there which can actually absorb and filter out the particulate matters. Secondly, we have the wet scrubber. It is a pollution control device which is used in separating sulfur dioxide, ammonia and metallic smokes in chemical mining and metallurgical operations. It is an application of liquid fountains is made to dissolve particulate found in gases. There are two types of wet scrubber, the Venturi scrubber and the cyclonic scrubber. So these scrubbers are also useful in these actually separate the harmful gases like sulfur dioxide, ammonia and metallic smokes. So after fabric filter, this is also a very important method. Third comes the equipment called electrostatic precipitator. The basic principle of it involves in this technique of separation is to change the particles and attract them towards opposite charge at the surface of collection. Okay, the pollutant free air is then allowed to join the atmosphere. The electrostatic precipitators are of two types, plate type and the tube type. So these devices are efficient to remove almost 95% of the particles ranging from 5 to 20 mm. Thermal power plants use the fossil fuels, mostly use this equipment to control particulate near the source of production. So through this they are actually be able to control the particulate matter disposal to some extent, and thus help in the thus they are beneficial for reduce the pollution to some great extent. Okay children, we would like to stop here today. It is your it is your work to go through the chapter till we have done the explanation today. Next Monday again I'm gonna give the explanation of the rest of the part, and then you are due to write the question answers. Now, I have not got the question answers of the previous chapters. I would like to see them. If anyone has written them, you please feel free to send me personally in my WhatsApp number, or you may also upload in the TIGPS app. Do not forget it. Be it in a small quantity, but write and send your answers for your teachers to check. Thank you, class. See you next Monday. Till then, take care.